It's an epidemic. It really is an epidemic where thousands of people are homeless. That's like unheard of for a town, and it's like things need to get done right. And here at the center is like it's like a little refuge, like from like 8 to 12. I know I'm safe. I can leave my bike here and not locked, and it'll be okay. They're helping me with mindsets, with house management cases, with meditation. I could get my mail set here. Like that's awesome. Like anywhere else, it's
So a typical day, we open around 7:30, and we're open till about noon for our program. So people who are living on the streets or who formerly lived on the streets will come in as early as 7:30, hang out with us on the patio until we start our groups. Groups are every hour on the hour until noon. At 9 o'clock is our coffee hour, which we do every single day. And that's when our gates to the patio are open, so anyone can walk in, drink coffee. We're listening to music, we're playing games, but the goal of that time is just to have community, have a conversation. Someone that's just walked in for the first time can feel really relaxed and hang out by themselves in a corner, and that's okay. Someone might ask them their name, but there's no expectation to be super social. We like to ease people into that. But we also have our groups before and after that, and groups can be anything from recovery-based to mindfulness to really active stuff like improv or art, writing, really anything that we can utilize to get people interacting and to get people getting to know each other. That's our goal here at the center, is ending isolation and then ending homelessness. So that big thing, homelessness, but then we try to kind of bite off a smaller chunk, which is dealing with the isolation piece of it.
which is nice because in order for me to get help, I need to get my birth certificate and my social security card. But if I don't have an address, I can't get the help. So it's kind of like a catch-22. But here at the center, they kind of like help you out, and they really try to make it better. There's always the smiling faces. And some mornings the energy's really high, and so but they deal with it so well. They're just very nice and calm, very relaxing. There's always a smile. They know how to deal with people really well here. So it's really nice what they do here.
I'm homeless, but I've been in a sober living environment, and I'm hoping to get into another one. So I have a counselor here, caseworker rather. Paige, the co-director of the Wellness Center. Father Frank, they help me focus on my recovery. I'm an alcoholic in recovery. I have about 6 months without a drink. So I come here every day. There are several other places in the area that give out hygiene kits and snack packs and clothing, but this is opened from 7:30 in the morning, and it's filled with people that I've met over the past 3 years. So I connect with a lot of people here. Even though I'm on the streets, homeless and sleeping in a quilt, I have hope that I'm going to get, placed somewhere, maybe in the Hollywood area, that eventually I can get back into the workforce. I just attended a meeting upstairs, and it helps to have a place to come to where it's safe, and you have an environment that's conducive to focusing on sobriety.
I encourage people to, when they think of homelessness, be very literal. Think about how they are without a home. They are without a place to stay. What factors lead someone to be out of a place to stay? Now, addiction, mental illness, all of those things are definitely a part of it, but at the rate that people are experiencing homelessness in Los Angeles, there has to be a bigger story, and I think we're not talking about that enough. We have people who are working at kind of higher end lunch and brunch places that they're the cashier at the place that you like to go to lunch to, but at night they sleep on the streets. And that is becoming more and more apparent, and if people who are working full-time or people who get disability every month, if they still, through all that income, are not able to afford a place, then their only option is to sleep outside.
Oh man, the center is so good, man. They really, really help you. It's just like the Forbes house out there in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It helps them get off the streets and really show them how things work. And when they get in the homes, they always look after them and see if they're doing good and whatever and whatnot, and help you stay in the space you are in.
I mean, every study has shown that to house people, even at market rate, is cheaper than the cost of incarcerating them. It's cheaper than the cost of all of the medical expenses that they're gonna inevitably ring up. Life on the street, they're going to get sick, they're gonna have to go to the hospital. They don't have insurance, or they have state insurance, and so either way we're going to be spending money, and it's actually cheaper to spend it on the most humane thing, which is to put people inside. You know, if you're worried that people are going to spend your money wrongly, then don't give it to them. But also know that as someone who has an addiction, their brain is now rewired in such a way that says, I will do anything to get the thing that I am addicted to. So whether or not you give them money is probably not going to be the determining factor on whether they get that thing. But it might be the determining factor on whether they get lunch that day. Even someone on food stamps is able to buy some things and not others, because some things you have to have cash to buy, even if like a toothbrush or toiletries or some of those things that you don't think about that are necessary for living, but that you can't use food stamps on, right? So that's kind of the argument to say it's okay to give them money and you don't have to feel bad about that. But on the flip side, if that's not something that makes you comfortable, but you do feel compelled to do something about the problem, then I would say certainly give to an organization that's doing good stuff in your neighborhood. Here in Hollywood, we like to think we're doing that, so you can certainly send some money our way, but you know, you can find one closer to you. You can do research. I would say educate yourself. As I was mentioning earlier about housing, a lot of housing complexes start to go up and then they're stopped because people in the neighborhood will gather together and protest it because they don't want that kind of housing near them. So if you're passionate about ending homelessness, maybe the answer is not giving money, but it's advocating for housing projects to be built in your neighborhood. Trying to educate yourself and educate others about what homelessness actually looks like, or just ask a person their name. You know, there's any number of ways that you can do good in the world that isn't monetary. But if you have money and want to give it, I think there's no real wrong way to go about that. What's needed more in the world right now is not people in pulpits, but people doing work that matters to the world. People willing to actually work to make the world a better place and not just talk about it. What we believe works and what we've seen work here is real relationships and real community. And I think that that is what is often missed in service, in homeless services, or in any kind of service, is the notion of recognizing that everyone is an individual person and they have passions, they have creativity, they have something unique about them that you as a fellow human being can connect to, right? And through Morning Mindset, through all of our groups, they're all really just attempts to find something to get a person to light up so that we can start to build a relationship. And I think as we think about what Los Angeles is going to do about homelessness, or as individual citizens who drive by people or walk by people on the street, think, what are we going to do about this? I think that what has to be kept central is that if we are not treating people as people and we are not connecting to individuals, then we're probably missing the point.
When you prejudge somebody on the streets, it's hurtful. It's very inhumane. Mm-hmm. And I just want people to just be more open-minded when they come across someone that's homeless, and like help out. Like, there's so many kind people out there, but just as much as there is kind, there's 5 times more that are just as bad. Mm-hmm.
It takes a whole community. I'm serious. It takes a whole community to help each other. If nobody don't want to help each other, then why are we here? Why are we living? Real talk.